I'm feeling man. Nkosazana yamagama. Nkosikazi yamabhuku. Mgcini wakho konke okulotshiwe. E-amented ezweni lamathongo. Uphakanyisiwe esihlalweni sobukhosi. Sikanothi. Isibhakabhaka. Wena mazi. Yemiqulu engcwele. Wena mlomo kababa wakho. Nkosazana yabalobi. Mgcini wetshe elingcwele. Ilaphisi lazuli. Ngathi amazwi ami. Aletha injabulo kuwe. Nezwi lami libe yiqiniso. Ezindlebeni zakho. Amulawad. Wena ngumfanekiso kaMvelinqangi uRa. Nkosazana ehola mkhumbi welanga. Ngibhekise kuwe. Wena mahluleli weqiniso. Nakho konke ukungafi. Igumbu likhanyisiwe. Izibane zakho ezimbili. Isilinganiso nomthetho. Ngilandela indlela yakho. Elotshwe phezulu esibhakabhakeni. Ngingena egunjini lesilinganiso. Ngilindele isinqumo sakho. Uyinkosazana yezulu nomhlaba. Namazwe amabili. Wena ukhipha igama eligcwele. Egunjini lezinqumo. Amthethokazi. Usekhet namat. Hepet shet. Fenti. Amkalbitu. Nehahau. Rerti. Mati F. Nebates. Nebaper M. Het. Setkesu. Ujatnes. Kerti. Hedjam. Senef. Ampeseku. Nepmaat. Telemi. Ati. Tutu F. Fundamenti. Maan F. Heruseri. Kemi. Shetkeru, Nechen, Serkeru, Basti, Raef, Haf, Daret, Genemti, Anhotep F, Neb, Haru, Serechi, Naeb, Abri, Nefertem, Demsep, RM, Abf, Ahimu, Utu, Rechit, Neheb, Nefert, Neheb, Kau, Jesertep, Annefert, AF, Tetowaz, Amaad, Amlawad, Achehud, Amlamogad, Ashu, Atefnud, Anud, Akeb, Aasa, Aoseb, Aset, Anemtet, Anpu, Asechmed, Amsha, Alifat, Ahitiru, Ahiru. Go.
So today's topic is my art and our calling. My art is the balance and order between what is above and what is below. It's important that we know our calling and live by it. Live by our talent that makes my art happy. I'm a art. 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 Let's pass it on to the
Good afternoon to you all, the royalty and the visitors. Please do feel safe, feel at home. This is your home. And the people watching from home, we acknowledge you and we appreciate your support. Thank you very much for tuning in. Nagalina Kenna Newo, and I will be leading the announcements for the day. So we gather here every Sunday at 897 PLS Street, Orlando East, at 11:30 for Umpasho at 12 o'clock. But we don't only gather here for that, we also get here to listen and to learn from the lectures Mkhulu. So we are currently in the season of Ma'at. 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 So Ma'at is the ancient Egyptian goddess of truth, justice, harmony, balance, law, and morality. Ma'at is seen as the goddess of stars, seasons, and the actions of both people and gods. Her first role in Egyptian mythology was the weighing of weights that took place in the underworld. So to find and follow us on our social media platforms, you can go to Instagram at GEK_movement, on Twitter at GEK_movement, on Facebook at GEK movement, on YouTube at Great Empire of Kemet, Mkhulu. Please do like, share, comment, subscribe, and please don't skip ads. This helps with the algorithm. Our private Facebook group is Mkhulu Basekemu. We are also available on Apple and Spotify podcast at Great Empire of Kemet. At our market today, we have Mashori herbal products. This is the Rab. They have the 250 milliliters for 150 rands. 125 milliliters for 100 rands and 30 milliliters for 30 rands. We also have the Mashori Cancer Bush, 50 grams for 100 rands and 25 grams for 50 rands. We also have the Truth Seekers with the different types of ankhs, necklaces, rings. Please do get yourself one to align with the season. This is also the incense for the season of Ma'at, the frank incense. Please do get yourself one, light it up at Musamo to align with the season. And then we have the booksmen. They search, find, deliver any kind of books you need or want. These are the books for children. They also get books for children in case your child is struggling to read, write, or do math. Get yourself one. Get your children themselves one. Get your children themselves. It's cool. To black-owned businesses, for entrepreneurs to market their businesses. For that, you can send info at gekmovement.org. And then every Wednesday at 7 p.m. we engage topics on the African Royal Calendar, where you get to know more about the African Royal Calendar. If you don't know much about it, you don't need an account or you don't need an account to access or join the engagement. And then we have the African Royal Calendar, the book Mkhulu reads from when he does Umpasho. Please do get yourself a copy, get yourself one for only 150 rands. While on that, just want to state that the days don't go from the 1st to the 31st, but the 23rd to the 23rd, and they go from seasons, not months. And fortunately, we don't have an English version of the African Royal Calendar. Just a reminder, we're also having a trip to Inzalo Yelanga on the 23rd of September. This is where the African Royal New Year happens. It's not on the 1st of January, because on September, this is where things start blooming, everything becomes green. So we are there to celebrate the New Year of African Royal people. And this is the season, Asa, the first month, the first season of the New Year, Yabatu. So we are there to celebrate the Black New Year. I think that's all we have for you today. Handing over to Mkhulu to learn the for the thingy. What do you do? We learn from the lecture he's giving us today. Nakalina Kenanewa representing the kingdom of Oset. 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 And of God. And of God. And of God. And of God. And of Kubulai. And of Kubulai. And of Kubulai. And of Kubulai.
Finish actually. bayeza bangoma bafumolwane
Baba bayes.
bayeza bangoma bafumolwane
Baba bayes.
Thokozani. Hayi ma-athi khona. And the future is very bright. Very bright. Invested properly. Hands of God. Hands of God. Hands of God. Ama aunt. Amulawat. Am Tetogas. Angwedi. Antu. Anumkubulwan. Anomza. Azinzisa. Aloli. Anomtutu. Avusamasu. Thokozani. Siyabonga mafresh. Nibambile. Ngibonge nenkosazana nendlovukazi. Into besikhuluma last week ukuthi uThokozani meke ngekho singasokoli. Kumele kube nebalance. efunwa uma-art kungabi the male voices. Why? We need that balance. Namhlanje sikhuluma ngento esemqoka kabi, kepha before singena lapho sibuya le Northwest bengihambe naye inkosana uZisiwe. Si-invite lapha e-Northwest University ukuthi sizonikeza a keynote. They had a conference lapha which deals with indigenous knowledge system, but they're also looking at indigenous astronomy. Yes. So, EGK yasebenza. Ngoba i-voice ye-GK it's unavoidable. Ngoba i-GK ikhuluma iqiniso all the time. One of the things they were saying, ukuthi i-university there, with time, it can be made a Pan-African university. La ifundisa khona only about African content. There's no institution like that currently. Therefore, it means ukuthi siloko sifunzwa le information yenga, whether we like it or not, because you have got no other option. All universities in South Africa, they have this department that they decided ukuthi bayibeke in a corner somewhere and call it indigenous knowledge system. And inside, because this is African philosophy, this is who we are. So why is it confined? When you get to a university, you find that kune department and abantu who are there, who have been fashioned by Western philosophy to come and teach indigenous knowledge system. So abantu who are rooted in this African philosophy are not given space to go and teach them. As an example that I asked them, a simple thing, Uguti, these are institutions of higher learning. It means, Uguti, they are trusted by us to tell us the right or give us the right information and knowledge. I then asked them, Uguti, what calendar are you using? Hey, all universities in South Africa that we're supposed to trust this knowledge are teaching us about a calendar that is based on the Northern Hemisphere. And they are not correcting that. It's okay with that. Knowing very well, I then discovered, Guti, sometimes you can have these degrees where a professor, where a doctor, but logic and the thinking capacity, you know, yes, hey, because that's the first thing, that if you come to an institution, especially that is perceived as an institution of transformation, you set a good foundation. What is the foundation? The foundation, you need to determine time yourself. Because whoever determines time for you controls you. It's a simple logical thing. You know, not only that one, but all universities on the continent are still teaching about this, and their curriculum, everything is based on the Northern calendar. If the foundation is flawed, and they are okay, you know, with giving out this knowledge, you know, they don't even question. Especially when I told them about Indabaye's card, how we on the continent and here on the southern hemisphere are supposed to calculate time. Time is determined by the rising of the sun. You can't wake up and you've lost 6 hours. The first hour of the day, they say it's 7 o'clock. That's absurd. And that has become a norm. All these universities are basing their schedule and everything. Never even question. I then question, the professors, Guti, can you give me a reliable information with regards to the geographical position of South Africa? Where is east? Where is west? Where is north? Where is south? Couldn't answer. Because based on the map of South Africa is very difficult. For you to be able to align. Hey, remember what South Africa is like a leg. Iso. I go straight as a map here. It then makes it difficult for you to find the true west. See that because it's very difficult. When you say you are in west of what? Because Western Cape, Northern Cape, Belu, or something. When they conquered us in Cape Town, they then decided to put everything in upper, so it is a low. Everything in upper, so it is a low. But there's no scholarly investigation in terms of that. But we had to rely on this electromagnetic field of Earth that runs through from Bluff to the Great Pyramid of Giza. That gave us a definite. Uguti, where is the true south? Where is the true north? And based on Amalay lines, those are points of energy. Chakras, splendid. One must the energy points or vortex, lagu concentration your mind. So, umsebenzi wethu mkhulu yingakho ufuna sibe sijule kulelo. Yazi, I can say it without any fear. There is no content greater than the content here Kemet. And everybody else that says, "Hi, now in there, lo muntu loyo ukufaka enyameni again." Kemet is about nature. Yes. We study, we master nature, so that we reconnect with nature and be in sync with nature. That's when we experience magic. Hey, and then into is that seeing kanyesi, right? Have you heard ukuthi emakushona inkosi kuba nenkanyezi ba bright bese kibathini? There are those stories emakhaya. Meaning ukuthi njengoba siphila kanje, siphiliswa inkanyezi ethize. Inkanyezi, remember ukuthi mesikhuluma ngama seasons, and when we talk about lama principles, sisuke sikhuluma, we are talking about the revolution of Earth around the sun. When it gets to a certain station, it illuminates the stars of that station. That's when you get illuminated if you were born under that system. Do you understand? So, but it doesn't mean Uguti, you don't have a bit of other. Because remember, Guti, what makes us animate is the electromagnetic field of Earth, which is a combination of the electro from the sun, and the magnetic from the moon. Yiyo into, that is the truth and nothing else. Nobody can tell you another story. Ukuthi no mina ngakuvuthela nje umoya wami yonke into isabalale. It can never happen. Therefore ukuthi it's important ukuthi we understand the source. Mesikhuluma ngoma art, what are we talking about? We're talking about that principles that determine, you know, a route for each and every planet around our solar system. That is why you will never hear, or there will be a day whereby Earth colludes with Mars. It will never happen because of the law, the order that was there. You know, when creation started, that everything has got to follow this law to create balance and harmony between Izulu and Mhlaba. How are we affected getting about that? We are affected because ngesizulu sithi wonke umuntu uze la afumbathe something. You came here with your own, you know, destiny. So the unfortunate thing is that other people even, you know, transcend without even finding that. And that is what is killing us, kahle kahle. You know, because we are not creating a resonance between what is above and what is below. Siphila like robots. You wake up in the morning, uyosebenza lapha, uyabuya. Because your calling is to be a umgoma, the one who heals with the sound. Mawucula nje wena, people get healed. So that is what we need to find. Mina, what is my purpose? What is my calling? You know, because if you are not living according to that dictate, you are out of alignment. You can never find peace. You can rush and want to amass as much money that you want, but until you do something that resonates with that energy and spirit within you. And within the African calendar, it's very easy for us now. There's no longer an excuse, because always the excuse, how am I going to know? A calendar is a guide. When were you born? You study the character of that principle under the season that you were born. You find yourself there. There are so many people here, I don't even have to know your name. Your behavior tells me which you were in a willing character. So, and when I ask you like this, so the calendar is giving us that foundation. That's why we do not disturb. So the calendar gives us, you know, that foundation. Remember, Gucci, especially in this card is kama art. Sibuya ku chaos. The chaos that was created by Seth, by letting this energy run amok. Now it's time to then differentiate that energy into something packageable, you know, that can be manifested. You start with yourself. If uzalwe ngesikhathi sika Jehudi November umlomokazi, start looking for opportunities and things to do in the field of communication, because that's who you are. Start small. Don't you know, even think ukuthi I need a big office for me to actually do that. Start wherever you are, but make that thing live. If your principal is aligned to a drum, start playing a drum. See people get healed. And then stop believing in this thing, because almost 90% of us here in Soweto, we don't have these certificates and degrees and whatever. But that doesn't mean we are dead. Because it's only the system that made us believe. If you don't, hey, I met Pastor 94. After all the sacrifice, they say to us, if you don't go to school, you'll end up picking up dustbins. That's what they said. Killing us even more, because we are then taking us further into this mess of believing in everything that is of inyama. The thing that we need to worry about is our spirit. Because we are spirit before we are flesh. So if you do everything here, trying to satisfy the needs of this fleshy nook, you are in trouble. You are in trouble. You need to find your calling. And you must do. It's either you produce a service or a product based on that. If we have this potential and we are not giving, remember la Kemet, it's about delivery and manifestation now. It's part of engaging and talking about izinto that are taking us nowhere. It's over. Find yourself. Come and produce to us me. This is what I've produced, a service or a product. So that we are able to actually support one another based on that. So the limitations that, hey, because a lot of us here are drinking ourselves to death. Because we don't have these papers that are required by the system. And impose the system, by the way. An unjust system, by the way. So for us to be able to live a parallel system that will be stronger in future, we need to start with ourselves. Because they say, know yourself. Know thyself. That's what they mean. It's the beginning of, with that, you can live in Japan, you can live anywhere. But you will survive. Because you depend on yourself. You will only, suffer and starve if you are lazy. Which is what will happen in the future. Which is why this is the unity that we are pushing and promoting. Let us unite based on umoya, not the tenders. Because these tenders, they make us, animals. We kill and shoot each other. For mere crumbs. I'm not crumbs value because look, as an example, there's para. Who is supplying para? It's just here. Who is supplying para? It should be communities from here in Soweto. But everybody from outside the community are just making billions every year, whilst the citizens of Soweto starve like this. It doesn't make sense. There's no logic in that. So which is why we need to make and expect we will support you. We won't support you. Take shortcuts. Whatever you produce in the future. That is why indlovukazi uzinzi azinziswa awini Mandela izindlovukazi. These are the people who saw it. There's no other way of uniting black people besides the calendar. because we are so messed up with this all Christian thing and Muslim and Judaism, all these foreign things that are not supposed to be here in our minds. And we look down upon our own. And when we look down upon our own, you are depriving yourself of the real power. Because our spirituality reconnects you back to nature. Hey, power is not a physical, spiritual. Hey, if you can connect spiritually, and that time has come. Remember, Gucci, we are in this age we call the real age of Sibuya. Sibuya Pisces. Pisces, all Pisces taught us physicality. Everything that we're doing was to satisfy the needs of this flesh. That is why we appeared as very stupid, especially in the education system. That word is synonymous, not dark. You get to our schools, a teacher has identified one of the students who is not able to perform as the other. But then there's a term that we used to stupid. Look at that. Lo mntwana lo bathi uyayikhuluma into ayifisayo ngempilo yakhe. Hey, bathi ushilo. Yonke lento le it doesn't resonate with that person. Hey, uyazazi yena ukuthi at the core of my being, this is who I am. If only I could get help for that to be nurtured. So Kemet system produces stockbrokers at the age of 10, 12. Why? Because mesimqala umntwana simbona ukuthi oh lo easy la imali. Simfaka ku program yakhe at that age. By the time at 12 I was a master. We are trader lapha at the JC wenza imali. Asimoshelanga umntwana sibheke sabuka ukuthi uzalwe nini ile season principle yakho njengo set abantu baka set abantu bemali. Kumele nibaqale lapho vele. Bafakeni la kule lentuza. You know, anything that has to do with money. Those and then you need to capitalize on that. Because that's your strength. It means when I was saying the Limadi movement. You understand? Hey, who said is a very anti-party? Who said is the mighty one? Power. Hey, look at the confusion in Israel. Zonke lezi zinto ezilokho zenzakala during the Pisces age. They were influenced by a character wakaset. Hey, nathi sashintsha from ubuntu bethu. Kuthe kungena in 94. I know. Remember thina mesikhula la. Ama units bebe operator la ngaphakathi internally. Mangine 10 rand. That wasn't mine alone. It was mine together with the people I'm working with. We lost that in 94. So it was, everybody for himself. That is why we're in this mess that we are in. Then the confusion came. A lot of imbalance came with the political differences. Yes. It didn't make sense for me, Guti. How do you give birth, of a child in 94? Isandla sile, ikhanda lile, inyawo lile, kanjani? How do you birth something divided? Huh? Our suffering and our oppression was, we're all affected by that. And we thought that was a wise move. I know, I have a better philosophy to manage this Western construct, which is imposed upon the majority of our people. Our tried and governing system of Bukos. Yes, Bungolile. There's a lot of debt there. But it's our responsibility to go and clean up that structure so that it serves us now. In that way, we are not being controlled. Every time we elect a leader, they rush to the US and Europe to go and report. What are they reporting? I will never change the constitution. Every one of them, when they go in Europe, is go and swear that land of Kaziabo, they fake the queen. Oh, we are in a power. No, please. Moab. Don't want to touch the constitution. Because there are so many, opportunities. 2/3 the majority change this. But there's no way to do that. They threaten you with sanctions. But this is Ofana Zimbabwe. If that is going to return everything that belongs to us, let it be. Let it be. Because we can't then cower. Why? Because we are being threatened. Especially about this investment thing. This investment thing, remember what JSE operates. Today we are in, tomorrow we are out. There's no long-term, view, especially by rating agencies. Moody, but check the Moody, the status of South Africa, but Membona the opportunity window ivuleka. Ngiyafaka tomorrow sengenzile imagine I'm out. The real investment okumele si protect ile intra-Africa investment. We stop depending because in Nigeria most of their stuff they still import. In Cameroon they still import. Most of these countries are importing, we are not producing. Hey, now like South Africa, the production, the means of production are not ours.
Thank you very much.
And the scary thing is that these investment companies babambe ama reserves of our profits. Why? Because setting up a factory as opposed to investing in a Bitcoin, it doesn't make sense for them. Lapa ama margins watola now. So I'm not even motivated to support this government. I'm going to withhold. There are billions that are supposed to be doing investment here in our country, but they are holding them in their pens. Why? Because other people are not supposed to live a normal life. We don't deserve a normal life. A black person has no value in their own country. But that is not true. That is not true. It's only those that claim to be representing us that are presenting us like that. We know our value team. That's we will be much more better outside without a bonge labantu. Hey, I was listening izolo to a clip angazumsholozi beyegu. Who showed something very interesting in that clip. He says, the Berlin Conference of 1884 or whatever.
1894, 1895.
Yes, Leo, that conference. It was an illegal conference for them to decide on the fate of the majority of people of the continent. And by implement and come and divide the continent, he then asked the AU, we don't distort land because it's theft, it's illegal, it's everything. No answer. No answer, because remember, Gucci, white in HEK, we don't celebrate the 25th of May, which is Africa Day. We don't celebrate it because it's a bunch of people that decided to preside over theft. The republics on the continent are now have grouped themselves into some, group that is supposed to be representing the interest of the majority of Africans. Then you ask a question, who funds them? Who funds them? Before Ishinja, by AU, it was the Organization of African Unity. It was even before we are given a so-called the story of liberation of South Africa. There was no liberation here. You can't claim that you've liberated me when you have just changed the jockey and painted a white horse black, which then exposes the colors when the rain comes. Hey, Manje, I'm so happy, Gucci. We are able to actually get knowledge for us to actually create the harmony within. Because it starts there. Once there's harmony within and the Sibambana we unite, oh man, that's power. That's power. And the unite to our more, yeah. How young and then man. Eh, see you go Kotlisana food. I know Namanta. I dream these dreams. Therefore, I must be leading you. Guys, let's just cut this penny in the market. Need to give anybody that said, follow me, and they move you away from that's a suspect. So, to just emphasize the issue of our art and our calling, Marcus. Please. Because, that is when we will find peace and harmony when we do that. Even if we peace, make sure at least 2 or 3 days a week, yenza something that resonates with Moya Wako. We're not saying people should just say, buying him savings, well, that should happen. But we are not saying that. We're not saying that. All we are saying, which we understand, the material demands, of impilo, which lapha Northwest. Uphinda lento enginokusho ukuthi kunzima for you to be able to ascend spiritually when your material condition is a mess. Ngoba in your effort in trying to ascend, rent. I need to pay rent. Already you are decreasing your vibrational frequency. So, balance. My art is about balance. The effort is all of us have the ability to satisfy, the demands zomhlaba esiphila kuwo, so that imesinyuka sikhupukela phezulu ingekho into ezolokhu ingidonsela phansi. You understand? Hey, but now I see excuse there. Yokuthi manje singayiphambili. Ngoba umhlaba wethu awukabuyi. That's not an excuse. And indaba yomhlaba sike siphake kancane. Sijimele. Esiloko siphahlele. Siyajimela. We make sure ukuthi our communities are transformed into also industrial areas. Remember ukuthi long-term plan is to leave these concentration camps. So let us generate enough income here so that sihambeni siyoindaweni eyisabalele. A home should have inspire. Each and every home should have inspire. So this is not the life, we're supposed to be living. So asiyenzeni ukuthi okwamanje asijimeleni lama concentration camp. How can we make money circulate amongst ourselves so that we are able to grow as a collective? When you generate enough money from us, because you are giving us a good product and service, you generate enough money to a point ukuthi we are able ukuthi manje usukeke futhi ungathenga umhlaba ubuyele ekhaya. Where's your home? You don't buy land in Africa, and nobody owns land. These property bayibiza land ole. Entitled deed. So into kumele silentuze ngoba siyazi iSouth Africa indawo yamakhosi. Mawuseduze nenkosi ethize hamba ukhothama la. Ukhulume nenkosi ikusikele somewhere. So that ukwakheke lento kumele ngoba nawo amakhosi azo engage. Remember ukuthi we are all here in these concentration camps. Kepha sisuka emakhaya. And we all belong to a certain royal house. All of us. So amakhosi must be told to await your coming. If usithole inkosi yakasithole emele yazi ukuthi abantu baya baseSoweto are coming ukuzocela umhlaba. Nobody deserves to live like this. This should be my whole crawl. Hey, indlule, ezinye izinto zile. But manje, how do I develop normally when I'm put in this box? So that is a long-term market. Remember, when you aggregate all townships, in the country, that gives you a leverage, buying power. That's huge buying power. If we're all resonating at the same frequency, singabantu abamnyama, siyaphuma kule nhlupho esikuyo less than 10 years. Hey, because emesihlangana every new year, enzalo yelanga. Ilanga elandulela laylo, ilanga lasipena khona for the rest of the year ukuthi what can we do as a collective? Oh, asiqaleni mhlambe ngempuphu, asiqaleni mhlambe ngamabele, so that we produce a product that will be supported by everybody. It becomes an obligation. It becomes an obligation. Mom Nyama to go and support that product. That is, you have no choice. Otherwise, you still want to be a slave. Yabantu who are 7 million who are controlling you economically currently. If you have no good idea for your children's future, you will then resist that call. But a normal thinking, black person, can see that vision and, being practical. And we will be creating art, Nsingiza. Because nobody is going to help us. Nobody is going to help us. But in the last 20-something years, just doing a simple thing, improving the lives of people like Soweto. Even before we vote on 94, bokukhulunywa ngokuthi development yeSoweto has to be prioritized. Not only because, Soweto was special, But iSoweto mayiqala la into ibamba lula everywhere. They all know that. So makudevelopa iSoweto ilingane ne-development, actually it should surpass it. The development yase-17. This is nothing because it's all about numbers. It's all about numbers. Ukuthi abantu base-17 banemali. They have that financial backing. Tina asinamali, but we have ourselves. Hey, we don't have the money, but we have ourselves. If one product, we agree with this is a product we must all support. It gives an opportunity to all of us to be creative, to be living the Ma'at way. Ma'at way iti. Live by your talent. Live by your talent. That's the best thing. Because when you work until 3 in the morning, you don't feel you are slaving. Because you are happy. You do something you love. Hey, that is how we should be living. Not a living like robots. Huh? Your schedule. Maybe sometimes to a point where there's no need for you to leave the house. You leave the house because you want to go somewhere, not because it's a must. And another thing that will give Indlovukazi zethu an option, you know, babe a choice whether they want to go and slave somewhere or whether they want to be the masters ekhaya. Kepha obaba irresponsibility yabo yile ukuthi umama should never swele. There must never be any point whereby umama ekhaya, you know, we are swela. Why? Because when ulivila, you're not producing anything. Instead, you go and work for another man. Remember, ngathi mina umsebenzi, you go emsebenzini masophila ngoma-art. You go and you know, assist someone so that you get enough capital for you to work on your own thing. Don't have a vision ukuthi uzofela lapha njengomkhulu bethu. Then they are proud 50 years serving one company. So we are not that generation. Hey, Tina, we need to be creative. Singabantu besambulelo. Isambulelo asidingi certificate or degree. Sit wena nje to reconnect with yourself so that you may free flow la ngaphakathi. That is the dictate kama-art. Have free flow ngaphakathi, then creativity. You must, one thing you must value more, it's your peace. It's your peace. Because if you don't have peace inside, nothing happens. Hey, nothing happens. Because into esemqoka leyo. Ipeace yenza umuntu mombona njalo uhlale ejabulile. And we are xebezela la ebusweni because unokuthula ngaphakathi. Uma-art lo mfilayo. When you have peace ngaphakathi, that is when magic happens. Then to say biza ukuthi yeka. Natural magic happens. Uthi ucabanga into yenzeka. Ungazi nawe kanjani. Uthi uyajika nje ekhoneni nangu lo muntu engumfunayo. So ubamba khona lapho. Hey. A story, you know, some time ago, I was going to Durban to have a meeting about by the council lab. But manje, umuntu bengifuna vele ukubona, it was Mkhulu for that meeting. I go Exeni game in Russia, buy ticket, whatever. You won't believe. He sit ahead, it was next week. Hey. I don't even think about all I knew would meeting yam yakiphelela ngabonanga lo muntu. Mengena airplane is sitting right next to me. So umoya ungawudeleli. Umoya is power. Umoya is everything. That is where our power, our real power, ilomoya. And nothing else. And the udingani nje ayikho into udingayo uma-art akafuni lokho wenza no thola ukuthula ngaphakathi, free flow. Once you have free flow, ma-art is happy with you. And the scientifically angithi bayikhuluma lento ukuthi the left and the right brain hemispheres must be in harmony. That's why you go for meditation. Because you're trying to bring that harmony. Lagwe. Balance the left and right. In life injalo. Because you need to remember ukuthi siphila ngani. Ngokushisa nokubanda. These are the two things that are ruling our universe. Hot and cold. So akwazi nje ukuthi ushiselwe nje wena why? You need something ezo that will cool you down. So uma-art ke Makhetha, it's not something beyond the reach. Yilento futhi esithi unembeza. Yilento futhi engenza ukuthi ngikubambe ngokamoya mangifekela. Ngitshela nice words. La moya na ukora. Hey, and the lento bese kuyapruvela. You understand? Yilento yenza ukuthi ngokuhlangana nomuntu even if ukhuluma naye uzwe nje umoya wakho uresonate sharp. Lo muntu right ke lo muntu. You don't have even ukuthi uhlangane nalo muntu. Even ukhuluma naye nje over the phone. You understand? So thina abantu bomoya siphila lapho. That is where okhokho bakho. Where? When they were aligning our pyramids with the stars. Hey, that was the symbolic thinking that dominated their minds. So for us to be okay and normal again, we need to return to that. Because baningi la abo immortal. Konala. Hey. And the baningi abo immortal la behil. You understand? About forward to Laba, who are from other kingdoms on the continent. They are here. And when they get here, they find us not having umthetho. Do you understand? So, if I come to a place where everything goes, what do? I go. And the lendo yabo, it's not a problem. It demands leadership from us here on the south. Remember ukuthi lengilosi olomoya ozolungisa umuntu omnyama neAfrika in the south. It's here. So that is why they find themselves here. But they find confused black people who are ignorant of this thing that is pulling them. Imagine from Egypt, they're all here. All of them are here. And I say to another person, we are so fortunate and blessed. Tinabala a southern Kemet. Why? Because umoya has made it easy for us to unite Africa. Awusena stress ukuthi uzobisa abantu from Nigeria ukuthi behle bezela. They are all here. All they need umthetho from thina abala. Ukuthi la thina ke makhe samba ngoma art.
High constitution.
That's all. That's all. That's all.
Wow.
Then there's harmony. That is when creativity begins again. Remember Guti, Kemet, Northern Kemet, Egypt. It was a mixture, a combination of all the great minds on the continent they had assembled there. That is why it is Guti Nyagato. The ground was shaking because of overpopulation by Africans. So the same thing is happening now here. Do you understand? So it emphasizes the importance of our unity and harmony and loving each other. Nothing will beat that. What they did, Okokobe, to remember, Guti, we are the living ancestors. You are Amunhotep, Unefetiti, Unefetari. Do you understand? These are. Remember, we said, you can't kill spirit. Hey, the spirit doesn't die. It just departs from the fleshy nook. But it continues. So it means that he has renewal all the time into different forms, but the same spirit. So it's not impossible for us to discover ukuthi kunabo imotepa by hundreds la in the southern Kemet currently. Abantu kumele ba-engage spiritually so that we get the best of what they carry for us. Because the solution is going to come from us. I'm not lying when I say Guti, there's a possibility Guti, we might build our houses. It's possible. Nothing impossible. And say if you were to do this and this and this, the sky is yours. It's not impossible. Nothing is impossible when it comes to Moy. Remember Guti, Maudonza emoyeli, udonza from the source of knowledge. Lesambulelo besehlisa besehlela kwabanye abantu. Sehlela kuwe manje. Because you are an open vessel. Right? You are not mounting any resistance whatsoever. Isambulelo njengoba crane. They get downloaded all the time of upgrades. All the time, all the time, all the time. So Nati, we have that ability. We need to be aware of what we need to do for us to be able to stay connected. You are connected. Lendo never tell bathwebula umoya wakho. Abantu ngeke bathwebula umoya wakho man. Ngeke bayenze lento leyo mkhethi. And you are always connected. Never, 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 agree to someone okutshela ukuthi you are disconnected. What disconnects you is consciousness yakho. Finish. Connection is always there. Umuntu afune 30,000 hayi was. You're out of alignment. Asiyesikhangeni. Thola imvuno embuzi. Hey, lezo zinto. But we are always connected. Consciousness yakho. What you believe about nature. The connection is always there. That's why uphila. Uphiliswa ile connection. Once nje washintsha ile nduza perception yakho, even the way you think, ukuthi wena we are not this physicality. Umoya. That's why Omadogon people who I strongly believe they share the same DNA in Abesu. There are so many, common things amongst the Dogon and Lendus. Those are people who were stargazers, who gave us, a sky map. The original bringers of sky map, the Dogon people from Mali. Abesuthu, if you were to listen to Abantu who understand this Sotho, they explain beautifully, the stars, the planets in their own way, because you can tell these are people who experience this thing, and kunama caves lapha ngasekhaya eBigville, because Bigville is just next door in Sotho. Kunemibhalo lapha yabantu bakudala, that led to ukhona uKhehla uZulu Mathawu. He wrote Sotho mathematics, something like that.
Yes.
But he's trying to explain the Sotho language, how mathematical it is. Do you understand? So, lento ikhona kithi sonke. The other day, bengumbuza. I was asking him, Mesibuya, because besinabo le Northwest. Ngiyabuza ngithi Khehla ngitshele la. Le calendar all promoter, because ile abangena unyakeni zinini first.
The month before.
Hayi namhlanje. Okay. Isasi first. Abesuthu bangena ngi-first. Sas. Unyakeni. Manje ngiyambuza ngithi Khehla kungani ubiza the Sotho calendar? Ngoba i-affect amazulu. We are looking at the same moon, all of us. Amavenda, amashangana, everybody's looking there. So, naye-ke, well, benga-expectanga that question. Ngithe hayi ungiphendule. Ngawuthola isikhathi. Remember ukuthi i-calendar yethu sonke. We have 3 calendar systems. We have the stellar calendar, we have the lunar calendar, we have the solar calendar. All of us. Because we draw from the same source. So, mesenza izinto. As much as it's good to ngixamise amangwane, but I must always think ukuthi my decision angeke na create a division. So everything that we do has got to unite us. I would ngeke singene on the moon calendar because it's within the book that we are reading. There's the solar, there's the stellar, there's the moon calendar. But okwamanje ngathi ifocus yethu ile 23 zika September. Once we can popularize that date of our African New Year to all black people to come and attend their real New Year. Lokho kunye sesizokulungisa as we go along. Ngoba mesinga focus on all these things at the same time. Angeke siphethe ngeke sifike futhi la siya khona. Remember ukuthi the calendar itself, it still needs, it's work in progress. It still needs adjustment because our week is a 10-day week. Based on the stars called the Deacon stars. One of the guys, astrophysicist, la pele nduzenikeza presentation. Ngithi manje Khehla ngiconfuse la stars. Where was the stars? And they are there. They are traceable. The Deacon stars. You that govern almost everything that happens here on earth. Utiwa, the toppling of a kingdom. Governor cycling of those stars. Everything that affects earth is those stars, the Deacon stars. So they make a 30-day month. Because they sit along the ecliptic, the path of our earth around the sun. So inkanyezi lezo okumele sizistadishe. But hayi man, asihlanganeni ngeCalender just for a new year. Si promote ukuthi sine calendar lethu, sine new year yethu kwamanje. Singathi mesingene ebantwini siloko sifuna ukuchaza yonke lento le. So ba confuse. You know, abantu banikeza ulwazi kancane kancane. Ngoba mongathi manje the 7th day ayikho 10. Kwenze njani umkhulu? Fana lento ukuthi the first hour of the day u1 asu7 abantu abayizwa le. It's so difficult for them to understand that. So
which sun is there or not there doesn't matter.
There's no conception in terms of ukuthi isikhathi sicontrolwa yilanga. Ayikho leyo nto le. Umuntu ugqokile washo. Just as to what controls that. You know, what is the countdown, because the movement of the sun. Remember, the sun rises in the east, then goes to the west, to the north, then west. It never goes south. It never goes south. That's how you know izinto zinjalo. So umsebenzi wethu mningi makhesi. Yingakho you know I'm so wishful ukuthi thina idlanzana leli likhona. You know nabantu abamamele lapha on our socials on YouTube. Kumele kusetshenzwe makhesi. We need to work as a unit and we need to produce. Don't wait for 1 million for you to produce a service or a product. Iqale kancane. Sikhona. Asisebenzi nathi kepha siyakhireza. Besikhirezile. Sizokunikeza imali nawe ukuthi uphile. Ungalindi man ukuthi man. Lento engifuna ukuyenza cost 100 mawufuna ubhaka ilentuza thola nje ovini uqale do something uthengise uze nesinkwa la sisithenge every Sunday manje asikwazi ukuthi sihlangane kanje kepha saloko support ama products abanye abantu. It's not right. Ilentuza website yethu must be filled by my products. There are just a couple of products now. So philisa talent lakho to make uma art happy, so that lento magic is not a hearsay. Like Kemet, you experience, then you testify. This is what I experienced during the season, because this is what I was doing in terms of my spiritual work. Then you come and testify. Ungezwa ngomkhulu lo ngumtshela itoriza it's my own vibration. So now we find your own vibration so that you come and testify. Kemet, it's about that. Akusho ukuthi mina manje ngilinde ngimele la ukuthi nginikeze yonke into. Anginalutho mina. Ngisabhekene ne-vibrational frequency yami ukuthi ithini iya. And ke mina is clear. It's clear ukuthi final destination kuphi. And then ngiyayiphilisa mina italent lami almost on a daily basis. Alidluli nje ilanga ngenzanga into ehambelana nomoya wami. Yingakho ngilala ngabo 3-4 sometimes, because I enjoy working on this thing that I'm doing. Ayikho imali engareplace leyo nto. That's the peace I'm talking about. When you have that inner peace, you are able to do that. And later push ama stresses. Hayi ukuthi anginama stresses. Ikare yami inida eyinyuke ngakananda. Mara ifocus yami sidekala. Ifocus yami is finding that openness. Nyamukela. Whether good or bad. Nithi kusharp moya. So ufuna ngikule cycle, it's okay. and umoya uzoyisolve. Hey, umoya uzoyisolve. And they say solve again. Ngoba ngitholile uncedo. Njengoba ngeke ngisho ukuthi from ubani. Singamamukela nje namhlanje. Sinjalo makhaya. So, umnandi ukuphila le life engiyiphilayo. Look, I'm not worth a million. I'm worth a trillion. I'm not going to settle for less. Ungilethele imillion uthi hayi divert lona. No, yasakasela man. I'm not going to do that. Because ngiyazi ukuthi what is our achieve unity amongst ourselves? Sonke simnandi. It's not going to be me. Hey, sonke simnandi because sesivumelene. And sibanjwa ilento kama-art. Ungabi nomkhobholo usebenza ngoma-art. Umkhobholo awufuneki. And imali, like it's important. But it's not the first thing that you is here in your mind. Uphilisa lo moya wakho, money follows you. Ungabe imali eqala. I am not touching anything until ngazi ukuthi how do I benefit. Ziyadlula izinto ngaleyo attitude. Do you understand? Mele wenze because wenzela usebenzela umoya. Umoya wakho futhi. And nobody else. Ngoba njengoba sila sikhethiwe. Sikhethiwe amongst millions of people. Ukuthi siyizwe lento. Therefore it means sinesabelo sokulungisa impilo yomuntu omnyama. So we must never take this thing light. Banengi abafika la umuntu hayi no. Just an hour. Hi. Futhi ukhona into emkwatisa. Uphuma la sekekwatile indlela. Indoda. Hey. Fane isigubhu. So it means lo muntu sendaweni wrong. Hey, and injalo. Remember ukuthi sathi thina we are not about numbers. Kepha thina sithumela umlayelo kubantu abanesabelo salento. Ngoba mawunesabelo sayo, just a word or a sentence is enough to ignite your own fire. And the ones that has been ignited, you can't go back and unlearn. Otherwise, you suffer from lendobiting as long as school. Cognitive dissonance or something like that. Hey, you are going to suffer from that. Ulizwe iqiniso kepha uthi hey mina kade ngila. Ngiyamuza umkhulu kepha hayi angiyi la asho khona. So kusemqoka ke makhehla ukuthi sisebenziseni amatalente ethu ukuthi siphumeni kulento esikuyo. Mina me living example. Lento le ngayiqala over 20 years ago neNdlovukazi. But ikhana manje ibonisa ukuthi iyaphi shape injani. And it wasn't easy all this time. Bengiphila because ngiyahereza. Do you understand? Hey, akusho ukuthi manje wena mawuqala into yakho izobamba nje like that. Umoya ufuna ube ne-consistency. Umoya uyakuthesta esikhathini esiningi. Uthi usayenza lento khona indlovukazi angazi kwenzakala lento. Uma usenza lento le, right? Kuvele something so negative in your life. Umoya ufuna ubona ukuthi uzoyenza. Uzo give up because so blame lento kuyo. Hayi vele bangitshela. into Illuminati. Then you fail the test. Kumele uvume. Nakho lokho kubi nyamukela if kuyintando yini. Then it will fast and the solution to solve it comes very fast as well. So we are tested. Yingakho la you can't fake anything here. You can't fake anything here because awukwazi ukukhohlisa umoya wakho. Usukukhuluma nonembeza wakho. Yini ngeSuthu? Litshwalo. Hey, yiyo lento esikhuluma ngayo. Yilento yenza ukuthi uzalikima ufuthekile. Temperature lephezulu. Ungithuke. Kepha lento le izokutshela ukuthi hayi uyaphela. Hayi uyaphela. Kumele uyoxolisa. Abanye abantu sebeyibulele. And once lento ingasekho la kuwe ingasaphili. Ungasazweli. You are dead. We are dead. Hey. So into kumele siyiguide because that is my art. That is my art. Hey. Into yenza ukuthi abo immortal to be the greatest architect. The stone builder, the first mason in the world, immortal. Sambulelo. Yes. Sambulelo. I never heard ukuthi ngizwe ukuthi immortal wangena kuleya university. Hey, Imhotep was the chief scribe. Every scroll, papyrus scroll that was written, it was under his command in Nsingiza. Everything that is written, even the book of the dead. Khona manje, a lot of people are not able to understand his achievements today. Why? Because remember, Guti, we are kunento siphila kulo mhlaba esikuwo, right? And that clouds the consciousness here. Because in reality, imagine ukuthi ukhule le content ingekho at all, and ukhula under abazali abakufundisa lo. Nobody can blame you. Do you understand? You can only save and free yourself to look at other things. Bengisho nje mina lento ukuthi I cannot ukuthi ngibe na 6 degrees from these institutions, but I don't know Shikhanta Diop. What's the point of that? 6 degrees, but you are ignorant of Uthiofalo Benga. Aumazu Ivan for Sertima. Aumazu Bab Credo. Because to me, it's like, how now African philosophy? Uingane. It means ukuthi mele ubuyele uzofunda African philosophy and start researching about credo. It is the entry point to credo. Research about credo la sinomuntu wethu West Africa bano Shikhanta Diop. We have ubab credo here. That's where you need to start. Ndaba, my children. Zonke, Song of the Stars, everything. Epalo ubab credo. Then you go and research everything epalo Shikhanta Diop. Everything epalo Luababa. Just look for those books. No Theophilo Benga. Ivan van Sertima. Abo Professor Clark. Nabo Professor Ben. Those are people that you need to go and research if you want a good foundation. How can I forget you learn the truth about Plato, all these Roman Greek philosophers. Ukuthi they were actually taught by your ancestors.
Yeah.
Hey, they go then profess as the originators of this knowledge. That's why, that is what gave us the confidence to say there's no Western civilization but only African civilization. You can't claim a civilization when you were taught by Africans, because your knowledge is the foundation of African knowledge. So you must be proud. Every philosophy, civilization, you are the bringer of civilization in the world. It's a pity uranuku Rashid agaseko umuntu bengifuna ukumletha la before harm. Uranuku Rashidi, research all his books. He's written about the presence of African people all over the world before we figure other races. Scientifically researched, books. So those are books should give you foundation of who you are, because we have lost that. We grow up knowing that Africa is a dark continent, produce nothing, and yet it's the opposite. So you can't replace that lie without that knowledge. So those are the people that you need to focus. Banengi abomfundishi, because very soon we'll be doing a conference, Yemedu Nature. Yemedu Nature is the classical language of the continent. And there are masters all over, the world who are African people who can come and teach us. So we need to learn Medu Nature, because everything, what you know as hieroglyphics, is Medu Nature. That's the original name. It's our classical language. That's the language, according to Theophile Obenga and Shekhanta Diop, that unites all languages on the continent, not Swahili. Hey, that's an intellectual, a language as well, because all the information we are talking about when we talk about African creation story, it's written, in Medu Nature. There are few people who translated those documents that have assisted us, to get a light, which is what they are talking about. So, in language which must be raised on the continent, it's Medu Nature. It's a similar language, symbolic language, lefana neyabatwa. Same thing. Same thing, kahle. Calender started here. Then they started carving it, like Kemet. They then carved them, on the wall. Nakona for posterity. Because ingakho kuthiwa thina heritage yetu, the knowledge yetu is written on the wall. Hey, you can't destroy it. Mawuya manje in northern Kemet, you find it there. Hey, on the land, the original text, the pyramid text, zonke the Mkhulu, ikhona lapha. And most of these, papyrus, scrolls are all over Europe, in museums. And those, documents, they need to come back to the continent. Because, they need to come back to the continent so that we are able. Remember, I said there's no continent which matches Africa in terms of literature. No continent matches Africa in terms of literature. So we don't need any foreign content. Right from sub A to whatever. We are not there. All Okoko were doing was to teach you firstly about the African creation story. Abantwana abancane should recite it in my crash, how the universe came to be you know, in the eyes of, a prism of African people. Do you understand? Once you understand that, you then understand the concept of one element world, hydrogen. You talk about lithium, helium, are portions of hydrogen. You talk about carbon, 6 portions of hydrogen. Everything is hydrogen. Not what we grow up, knowing. Even now, I still don't know the periodic table. I'm still blank about the periodic table because nothing never confused. You understand? And it's all even the teachers were not good in terms of, presenting that information to us because it presented as something foreign. And there's only one that is proving that. Professor Oyibo. Professor Oyibo is from Nigeria. He's the one who came up with what is called Ikakat. He solved mathematically what unites the whole world. Even those that want to disagree with him, but scientifically they can't. Because he used their model to prove that. Dr. Oyibo told us about the one element word. So when you know, it then changes how you do things, how you build, how you develop, how you do almost everything. Do you understand? It changes the paradigm, completely. So African-centered knowledge, mesikhuluma ngayo, asikhulumi because when you talk about that African-centered knowledge, basinikeza abo Franz Fanon, abo Mkhulu, bonke labantu la. Do you understand? And they were not interested in that. We want the people who have written, because that is a pure knowledge of the continent. Abanye siyabathanda bo Franz Fanon, bonke labantu, they motivated us and gave us clarity to how to maneuver in this new political system, which is theft. They told us, look out for this and that and that. But that is not the real meat. Bonke labantu who know, who mastered the political history of the continent, yes, they were of value then, but are not of value into the future. If the future is nature, they haven't written anything in that regard. So sizobayuza nje as a reference ukuthi hey uMgabe wawuthatha umhlaba bamkwatela bamenza all these things, but at the end Zimbabweans are owning their land. As to what happens, I'm so disappointed. Umnangabe is returning the land back. He's asking them to compensate for the land that they lost. And abantu base Africa, these leaders, they undermine the importance yomhlaba for thina abantu abamnyama. It's so unfair because I can't go to Germany or France or England or whatever and go there and claim people's land. And actually be arrogant and refuse with it. In their faces. They'll kill me one day. God. Because be. So why do they think they have a right to do it to us? But I said into ezobalungisa. Asibaphatheleni so that babuye umqondo wabo uvuthe ukuthi thina asisekho kulento yepolitiki. Don't come and talk politics to us. Thina we are about black unity now and nothing else. and connecting with our past. That's all we want. Because that will give us a much brighter future. And peace when okay. So ngiyabonga. Ninginikeze isikhathi sokuthi ngimamele. Ngamukele abantu abasha. Siyabonga Makhehla, wonke umuntu obenethuba, obenesabelo sokuba khona namhlanje ukuzomamela nje inkulumo yanamhlanje. Ngoba asinto okumele sithathe for granted ukuthi abanye noma bafise kanjani azange bakhona. Manje ke yingakho sithi once so uhabule iKemet ungabuyele emuva. Ngabuyele emuva. Lento sikubiza ukuthi idlozi awulikhalisi bese phela ephila ngoba kuba nesikhathi la inkinga zakho zivaleka khona. And that is when you find that harmony within. Ubabone mokushaya isigubhu la ntambama. Hayi abasekho. Bayandiza labantu bona. And that is healing. That's when healing happens. So, idlozi lakho mele ijabule. Mina ngiyajabula every Sunday. Ukuhlangana kwethu, it makes me happy. Ngiyakhohlwa inkinga zami. Just for a day. Idlozi lami lijabule. And that is when you get ntambama isambulelo siyehla. Why? Because there was harmony meaning. Now I'm downloading before me. Siyabonga Makhehla. Angazi ke ukuthi before ngilenduza ke ngidlulise na inkulumo. Kusele inyanga eyodwa. Siyenzana. Sasa sizoyenza nje ngamandla nje ukuthi sizame ukulungiselela ukuthi siqedelele lokhu okusela. Into engifuna uku-introduce about inzalo. Sibone ukuthi mesifika nge-21 njalo leyo galadini youth who are future leaders tibahabuliswe every new year by honoring our ancestors but also preparing future leaders on how they should lead this continent, because if singayenzi leyo sizozibona nje silokho siyenzana but ayikho into ebambekayo eyenzakalayo. So we hope ukuthi that will be a formal day, la si trainer khona youth. So lento we can think, because we've got a 4 cardinal points that we go to every year. So we can make it a point ukuthi it becomes a pre-event igaladini, so that last course sikhona ukhabulisa nakhona ukuthi mesisukile lapho sishiya imbewu ethize. So leyo nto leyo isaqala, kukhona i-team esebenza nayo sisayakha lento, kepha mase-ready ke abantu ke bazonikezwa. So i-22 mlindelo normal ke umlindelo. Indlovukazi beyicelile nje ukuthi mesiqeda la ngelecture, mesiqeda nje ukudla sibe nethubanyana nje ukukhuluma about phakamisa isandla ngoba uyojabulisa idlozi lakho. And remember ukuthi the 12 hours are dedicated to each and every principle. So wonke ama principles are called by UNUT to come and open the doorway for Asa's birth on the 23rd. So therefore, ukuthi wonke umuntu has got to participate as part of Asa group, as part of Teru group, as part of Jehuti group, whatever, as per your principle and season, so that kube ne-activity ilentuza because abantu baseThekwini yabo abayikhohlwa ba-organize one of the best. Manje nabangapha ke kumele siyibonise ukuthi hayi nathi siyakhona nithi eThekwini it was very nice. Umoya uvumile. On Wednesday about indaba yaseBluff market. Remember ukuthi lapha eBluff, where the root chakra of earth is, the beginning of the electromagnetic field lapha eBluff, phezulu lapha kunamasotsha. They occupy that place. Now I have a meeting on the I think ngolwesithathu. So ngizosuka la ntambama Tuesday attend that meeting ngibuye. Siyokhuluma nalabantu ukuthi sifuna indawo lapha epermanent la soyenza khona lo mkhosi wethu. Wenjikalanga. The 21st of June. Ilanga mejika from the northern hemisphere coming back here. Every year, so we are going to fix that. Ngithole confirmation this one. So this is what is going to happen. Umoya sebenza. Kancane we are going to make sure that there's permanence in what we do. Everywhere la siyakhona naseLimpopo, we'll make sure ukuthi siyalindelwa all the time siyala, because iqala nje lento kancane but it has a potential ukuthi ikhule. Remember ukuthi i-target yethu it's not only South Africans but bonke abantu abamnyama internationally. They need this healing. So it's going to be packaged in that way, so that it's an international thing. Sense njengama China nama Judah and everybody, when they celebrate their new year, the whole nation of African people celebrate. That is the long-term vision for us. So which is why ngiyabonga nje ukuthi umoya yazi izinto ziyashelela, ngakhuluma ngibuya ukuthi izinto ziyashelela. Umoya is a play. Ego yethu sibekele side sathi umoya usihole. So siyabonga. So izoba njalo siyeni ke ngobuningi sizame ukuthi sisabalalise lento, so that wonke umuntu abe ne chance to go and recharge, because we are recharging your electromagnetic field, your own electromagnetic field, by going there, because we are where it passes from Durban there, Yoshaya there, the Great Pyramid of Giza. So automatically when we are there, during this renewal, remember ukuthi uAsa is the God of renewal. uAsa is uzo renew everything on earth. Yingakho during spring ubheka isikhumba sakho siyabuka. During spring season, it means that something is changing, environment yonke. So new skin, develop. So that is the energy, the nurturing energy of the sun, and that is hydrogen and nothing else. Remember, Guti, when Earth is slightly away from the sun, there's less hydrogen on the southern hemisphere. Now, the sun is getting closer again to the southern hemisphere. That is why hydrogen is being renewed, and the hydrogen then basically renew everything else on Earth, including us, because we are part of nature. So it's very important for us to celebrate our New Year. Thokozini Makata, ngibona ikhetha hayi selikhipha.
Mkhulu, thokoza ngibongela class. Mkhulu, here's my question. International unity. Yazwakala again. Can you help me here? I keep asking the same question. I don't know why it is. In the context of international unity, right? We have moved from the age zodiac. We have moved from the age of Pisces, and we've moved into the age of Aquarius. In terms of is Kemet, is it Ma'at, age of Ma'at, or is it the age of Heru?
Ma'at.
It's the age of Ma'at. It's the age of Ma'at.
Age of Ma'at.
No,
Age balance. Remember from the universal energy. It was like this. Now it's coming to balance.
So we're moving from the age of Set to the age of Ma'at.
That's it.
That's what's happening.
That's what is happening. So whether we like it or not, that balancing energy is there, and there is not dependent on anybody. No, it's because of me. Balance. No, naturally it's there. Whether siyatanda, and that is why uzotola ukuthi these days there's so much interest in terms of content there's a Kemet, especially amongst the youth. There's so much appetite about Kemet. What I would also say, Uguti, it is that age where this African science, Yogundiza Mumshani, is coming from. We are in pointless.
Ever since discovering this movement, I've also been researching a lot online, and I'm so interested in melanin, and I was very shocked to tell I'm not getting the information I think I should get about how wonderful melanin is. So I don't know if you can share in our line like more information
on melanin. Okay, maunga research. Yeah, ngizokhuluma kancane, but maunga researcher, Dr. Sebi, researcher, no Dr. Africa.
Dr. Sebi.
Yes, Sebi. Sebi. No Dr. Africa. Laila Africa. Then kukhona nalo the other guy who Phil Valentine. He talks now in melanin, and another guy called Umfundishi. Yes. So in melanin when I go, then we start here. What is the chemical structure of our universe? It's carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. So what gave birth to the sun? It's carbon. Ukupila kwe-carbon kwapuchuka ila out of carbon. So yingakho even today the sun still burns carbon. And that's why the sun will never stop shining, because there's so much carbon, in our universe. So Dr. Sebi says what you call melanin It's actually carbon. Do you understand? So melanin is very important, you know, in terms of, remember what it's a communication molecule. You know, we are able to send and receive information. And the melanin is the dark matter. You know, into the sabalele in our universe. And the melanin is the but it's not and that's divineness. Because a young into izalwa ina. If ungenayo kusuke ukuthi ungama condition ala emhlabeni akwenze ukuthi ulose, you know, leyo melanin. So imelanin wena gogo is very important la empilweni yethu. Ubab credo uthi la kumedula oblongata theni yini ungabethe. There are 12 centers of melanin ebantwini abamnyama. 12 centers of melanin, and those 12 centers of melanin are also aligned with emotions. You understand? It means ukuthi thina ingakho kuthiwa sinobuntu, because we experience the whole spectrum of my emotions. You know, omunye umuntu ongenayo lento simbona ngathi akanabuntu lo muntu. Kanti ungamblame akanayo leyo nto leyo. You understand? Ama centers la ekhanda are limited. Tina, we have 12, and that has been confirmed scientifically as well. You can research that. So Ubab Credo talks about that ukuthi mawukhuphula umbilini usuke ignite the fire of those 12 centers, so that a pineal gland yakho it pops. You light ke leyo. Mawuyenza continuous leyo nto leyo, yingakho you become the son or daughter of light. Umuntu oke wakubona lo khanya, you know, whilst doing the spiritual work. It means ukuthi so ufike ezingeni lokuthi uyakhona ukumanipulate ama elements for you to do good. Ungamanipulate bese ke yazi intoni ithi abantu abamnyama abathakathi. Abelungu yibo aboqala abathakathi, because bona bathaka kabi le mithi le. Ikhona imithi thina ongamelanga siphuze. Remember ukuthi even biologically makeup yethu ihlukile. Akumelanga sisebenzise imithi elapha abelungu. Imithi efana nokudla. Kunokudla thina ongamelanga sikudle njengepapa. Lesi ithanda remember ipapa siyazi thina saza amabele. Yes. Singabantu bamabele. Ipapa iyakuloka la. Nenyama akumelanga sidle.
Even seafood.
Manje sizophuma njani?
I'm not supposed to eat.
So zonke lezo zinto lezo ziaffecta umzimba wethu. So imelanin is very important. Yiyo le ekwenza ushama get down the way washa ngakhona mawumuntu omnyama. Yiyo le ekwenza ukuthi uDr. Lyle uthi yiyo le ekwenza ukuthi uhlakaniphe kunazo zonke izizwe. And it's a fact. Ngoba sehla kalula isambulelo la kuwe. Do you understand? So melanin is very important. It's very, very, very important. Not only empilweni zethu, but thina angithi it protects us against the harshness of the rays of the sun. And the thina ke sine melanin siyayitransforma into vitamin D. You know, yingakho okhokho bathi ubophumela ngaphandle ushaye la.
So we don't really need statistics.
No, I get to my session. Remember ukuthi before, the darker you were, you eat dark dindi. you were the best. Do you understand? So over some time, abantu manje because of monga manje Congo. Abantu base Congo ba cream even amadoda. Basusa le melanin. Angithi imfundiso ukuthi une melanin awukho muhle.
So pretty the darkness you are the best specimen because the melanin is something.
Injalo wena gogo. So we must never, shy away from that. Ukuthi melanin is important and the more melanin you are. Ngize umfana wami the other day a complain ukuthi baba mathi manje sengiba mnyama. Angazi besikuphi manje ashiswa ila. Ufuna something ngithi hey wena. Ngeke ubenje.
Must be the best.
No, but remember Gucci, they are all shades of black. Right? But I wish you would mind lava mnyama kakhulu, they have more melanin in the DNA. So we must never look, good mina ngiyakanya kancane, then I have less. No, that's not the story. Mina mnyama kakhulu, then I have more. Bakhona abantu labo bathi bahlasa. Chokuthi melanin lo ibonayo because unobu blue green yana in the screen especially more ibona elangeni. Do you understand? And hiyo lento yenza futhi ingane namanje ingane mesazana inamabala green la imove. You understand? So I think I as of light complexion. I have a complexion of some sort. But it's a levels, yes. That is no difference. Njengoba ngisho ukuthi it's in the DNA. Thokoza.
Kama uchati ngiyaqala ukufika la usually ngiyafollowa online Facebook. So ngikubuza la Mkhulu, kunomehluko yini between ukuphahla nomkhuleko?
Okay.
Because ngiyaconfuseka.
Umehluko ipackaging.
Okay.
Ukuphahla is the original thing we're saying and doing.
Yeah.
Mase abelungu befika la they were refusing us to live our spirituality. Abantu manje bayishintsha lento bangena manje most of them go Shembe go Zayoni or go Khanya. Do you understand? For them ukuthi manje sebeshintsha la package.
Yeah.
Ifana nedlozi nesithunywa into eyodwa kepha le enye is associated nale undercover of our spirituality under wonke lamasonto wakho. So umehluko nje ipackage because ukuphahla ukukhuluma nomoya. Sikhuluma nomoya directly and kithi umoya umuntu akafi uyashona because umoya wakhe lives forever. So yingakho okhokho bethu would embalm and mummify bodies because a body should never decay. Why? Because of the melanin in the skin. As long as you all the time. Do you understand? A okhokho bethu would never let ukuthi impethu zithethe nje inyama yomuntu. Do you understand? Because sekusala amathambo and lezo yinsalela ze melanin, it's not saying ukuthi ithamba lina melanin ikhona but at a lesser degree. It's mostly concentrated on your skin. That's why we go to the grave to talk to you through the melanin. Remember, melanin sends and receives information. That's why we go to the grave. Ufike lapho uphahle kusasa uthola ikhona hayi uzosebenza.
just a follow-up, Mkhulu. Indaba ye-alignment, spiritual alignment. Sikalaphi, umuntu kalaphi, if you want to align, angathi ine ngokwesintu umvelingane, and then kuba amadlozi wakini, then kuba uwe. How does one then, where does one start in terms of starting a journey of alignment?
Okay. In protocol, uqala with the principles of creation first. Why? Because I'll tell you why. Your father or your mother or your great-grandfather was born under a certain season. And that season, yehlisa a certain vibrational frequency, no moya wakho. Therefore, when you recognize the principle above, you are also recognizing your grandparents, your ancestors, and everything. You know. So here, what we then encourage, kumele wenze lo mphahlo esiwenzayo qala, because uvusela the sources of a life, the sun and the moon, and the ney'nceku zakhona boShuwa boTefnut until ufika uHeri. Then ke bese ke ushisa impepho ke uyaguqa ke manje ukhuluma nabakini directly from your mother side and you from your father side. Don't mention because kukhona lo bengazwani nobaba wakho umalume wakho nje blind. Lokubisa amagama. Yo, nina ubisi. So it's safe. It's safe for you to do that. Bonga bako mama ngela basazi. Now meditation, Marcus, is very important. Meditation is very important because more local breather in, you are washing your pineal gland, right? When the energy we meditate, you know, unyusa this energy. We are easy when it goes up through the spine. You know, that is the energy. Purify the pineal gland so that maulala ukhona ukubona. Besides ukuphala ke nokuclean system, but yinto kumele uyenze almost every day. Nalento le ukuthi remember ukuthi the most powerful hour, it's between when you are in between consciousness and consciousness. That is a fertile ground for you to put images of what you want now. Learn ukuthi ufake la, especially during that time. Ngoba, you know, it's a fertile ground ukuthi kwenzeke ngakusasa lento boyenza awuna lento bengifisa. You understand? So injalo. Oh, Mkhulu ngisacela ukubuza la clarification ngoba ngisile ushela ukhehla la ukuthi awubizi amagama. Meaning awubizi ibongo, awubizi. Then ngicela ukubuza kanje, khona abantu uthola ukuthi ukhulela ko stepfather sakho nokuthi bayakwa inkinga. Abantu abakhulisiwe bese ukhulile kumele uyabonga official. It doesn't negate ukuthi manje ngoba ukhulele la ithi yena yakhwila. It will always be there. Yeah. Lokho bamele bakwazi na ukwazi ukuthi ukhulisiwe nje la. Kepha noma ubaba ngamazi ingakho ngithi babize bonke, because labantu bahlangana ngokamoya before you were given birth or even conceived. Wahlangana imimoya, because remember the causal plane, this is the effect. So kuhlangana imimoya qala, so ingakho ngithi babize bonke abakubomama, because awukho kupolitiki at that time. Ufuna ukukhuluma lento ufuna ukuyikhuluma. Awubaza ngithi abakubobaba abasondele bayakwazi wena ngokamoya.
and then lava ubabona.
Oh no, ngapha uyabonga wena Khehla mawuyiphahlela. There's no lenduza buka. Laba bangapha unless bakhunga. Do you understand? Baku introduce kula madlozi akho. Kuthi nayi ingane esiyikhulisayo la. Otherwise if ungenzwanga konke lokho there's no need ukuthi ubaphahle labo. Because bakuncedisa you know endleleni yakho. You understand? But maso ukhulile into vele eyenzakala okumele yenzakala. You've got to go back there and thank them. That's the most important one. But mokhulunywa nje akekho umuntu ohlanganiswe ibongo ezi3. Zimbili always. So yingakho kumele ubize babumama bize ngoba awazi bathi iqiniso lazo mama awazi. Ukuchuba ngoba yingakho nje kumele ngoofende anybody uthi sondelani ninabangapha nani sonela bangani. Then you are safe. Ngoba uzobiza umkhize kantabeni.
Ngathozi nini mhlambe si afune kancane ekudleni okungasiza noma mhlambe efuna esikudle ukuthi sikwazi ukuthi sikhuphule umbili kube yenzeke kahle into lesizama uyenza noma mhlambe nasiphali imkhuleko yethu izwakale futhi nezinto zenzeke kalula. Ngicela nje ucaphune nakhona Mkhulu.
No, I thought bese ngikhulumile ngokudla ukuthi ukudla kumele sikavoid or ukudla that we need to be consistent in ingesting all the time. Ama-herbs, imifino emawufuna ukubambisa ngithi sesajwayela ukuthi mawungadlangi inyama usutha. Kanti uqombile nje ukusutha it means ukuthi izinto ziyadijesteka and transform into the element that is going to help your body. Hayi ukuthi uqunjelwe nje unjele ukuthi jile. That's the state. Abo baba balwa nabo mama inyama mengeke plate. Oh mama basenkingeni. Ile nyama esigulisa. Remember what it takes time for it to digest in our system. And yiyo-ke into preventer your easy ascension. Because you need that energy. Esetshenziswa manje umzimba wakho to digest this meat. You need the energy which you couple from la kumbilini iyoshaya lapha kuphanana. So disturb leyo nto leyo. Especially ukudla inyama late. Zama ke noma uyidla kayidlela ngabo 5 please. So that by 8 seyizamile uwehla kancane.
Hayi. Kokuphi. Abona indaba yokudla. Indaba yokudla bafethu osisi bethu omama bethu la indaba yokuzitshintsha. Because sihamba sidla la itradini. Umhluzi uyihostel kulapha kuyafrayile ise McDonald's la kungamasibanibani kuthengiswa imnandi next week kulapha bonke labantu banento zabo bazisipanisayo ukuthi uze then yini ezokulungela ngoba sohlangahlangene awushare isoul uyi-1 uyakhumbula bomagogo bebathi ningadle estradini khobona umkhulu wakho wena azanekudla kwasestradini bazokudla then wena ufika le soul yonke lento ongazi bathi lenkomo uginqi ifakwe ehostel awuyazi hlatshwe enye inkabi ebulalayo nawe uyoyigawula then that's why uthola ukuthi restless futhi kwathini unestress yile gawula nje esihamba
just to with regard to inyama kahle sidle icala. True. Remember ukuthi thina we never owned slaughterhouses for cows. Whether imbuzi, whether imvu, whether yini, ayiphuma umoya singaphahlanga. Hey, yonke inyama esidlayo siyidla ngoba siyazi ukuthi iphahlele. Manje le nyama esiyidla ebhutsha, othenga ebhutsha, ayibuzi ngoba udla icala, ayiphahlelwanga lena. Bayishaya ngegani qhu phansi.
Bacishe neyidala.
Bangakhulumanga ukuthi kungani lo moya wale nkomo mele uphume. Uyayidla wena, siyayidla mina. Ingakho sigula kanje. No, siyayidla vele. Siyalwa mengiyalwa. No, siwayini. Bathi umuntu ongadli nyama always come and have bathi nyama yeke. Thokoza Ntokazi, thokoza.
I'm sorry, Mkhulu. Thank you so much for an enlightening talk. Ngiyasikhuluma isiZulu kodwa mase ngine-crowd.
Thokoza.
The colonization. Bengithanda nje ukubonga le nto ekhulumayo yokudla and just make a request because it's one of my sort of favorite pet subjects and I've made it a hobby and all my hobbies end up becoming some kind of organized thing that I do. But I wanted to add just one small thing. On top of the issue yenyama, even vegetable-based stuff, it's all chemical.
Yes.
Right? So GMOs, and it's actually the whole imperialistic thing, and I think maybe at the dinner we might want to have a slot in Zanzibar to talk about it because it talks to the farmer and the health imperialism. If you understand what imperialism is, we are included. Canada in North America are up in arms. The Japanese president was assassinated. Commercial media blocked it out. There's a reason why he was assassinated by the Japanese. Because Japanese are very rooted in their culture. And they don't sell out on their culture because of the revolution. I'm going to try and make it 3 minutes. And the Chinese president, supposedly the Communist Party, which is not communist at all, because China has got the highest number of oligarchs. If you remember the 2007, America was rescued by China. Actually, nonetheless, I can go on and on, but the point I'm trying to make is that I'm so honored to be here because I think so cases of an opportunity to enlighten each other and enlighten our family members, our neighbors, and everybody that we encounter. Because we are now at the pinnacle of this struggle against the so-called globalists who really are Satanists. Because they have a hierarchy that they report to. And I don't know between Soros and Bill Gates who's the head prefect. One of them is the head prefect.
Sure.
But I think in Nsingiza on the food discussion is if you can all, especially about this African females, the reason we have endometriosis problems, period pains, we have fertility problems. I discovered this when I had my own fertility problem. I was trying to have a baby and it was a bit late, also because of age and all of that, but diet and food. And my whole life, I'm 13 years old and I got my first period. Up to when it ended recently, I had period pains. And this is a problem that most black women suffer from because of the change of diet. We are herbivores as Africans. We use them for other purposes, skin and medicine and buy whatever we needed for the winter for extra protein. But it's important that we start to understand, one, we need to come off meat, including myself, or at least the frequency. Meat should be eaten with breakfast actually. Two, we need to come off sugar.
Yes.
Causing the endometriosis, the infertility, and the infertility thinking as a spelling. Zibangwa ushukela. zibangwa ama-tolerance. I know elokishini kugcwele ama-tuck shops athengisa and all of them have got colorants.
Yes,
The
yes.
colorant is what it says. It's a color that they put in. It's not a natural color that comes from beetroot. It comes from some chemical, toxic chemical that was cheaply produced. It's causing a lot of inflammation in our bodies and it's destroying your uterus. Evidence it might even be messing with DNA. There's colorants, there's flavorants, there's all sorts of whatever that they add. Then there's the GMOs, genetically modified organisms. Then there's all sorts of things. So what we need to start doing, because I'm not going to really, some of us is to plan to move. Okay, I understand. But the don't understand what we mean. Some of us as Kule indigenous because the township has that petrifying effect.
Concrete
As a concentration camp. Yeah, it's a concentration camp. I'm not being offensive. My mother stays in a township. It's a concentration camp. It was intended to be a concentration camp, designed as a concentration camp, maintained as a concentration camp. So people normally say, oh, yeah, you're saying that because no. There's mountains, rivers, and everything. So what we need to do is perhaps talk about a program where street to street, section to section, voting station to voting station, because there's no space. So mina ngizotshala lokhu.
Yes.
Wena utshale lokhu ngoba phela ngeke ngitshale yonke into engidingayo. Okugcina ukuthi nitshale in two things that are in the list of things you should stop eating immediately. The mealie meal Mkhulu was talking about, I was just dying to add. It's not indigenous. It came with colonizers from South America. But also birds. You learn that in primary school. Birds fly around the world and they carry seeds. That's fine. I mean, that's after all, we are the center of the earth, right? As Africa, and so it's okay. You know, it might not be indigenous, but it's natural to the earth. But you don't know what it comes with. So the maize meal that you're eating, that you're thinking, and amabele is what we should all go back to. Amabele are an indigenous crop, and they're raping, from Zimbabwe. And then there's kukuza. Kukuza is the one that gives you the longest life. You can live beyond 100 if you just eat kukuza. That's what call black jack. These things grow wild all over Soweto. There's a lot of amaranth here in Soweto. You just go into the bush and grab the seed and throw it in your garden. You're out there even to till the soil. It will grow with the next rains. And so, by the way, the gene pool is not carried by men. I find patriarchy. Black men who challenge black women fighting patriarchy. They're stupid because Africa was never patriarchy. Sexism and patriarchy came with the colonizers.
Yes.
They domesticated their women in Europe. Then when they came here, they found us living equally with men, engaging in the economy, mining, farming. No, I'm not telling you a lie. Farming is an economic activity. So if you and not go too much, but except to say that the reason I'm asking Britons to do this is because we're going to introduce a seed exchange program to decommodify the original economy, which is agriculture. So when colonizers came to Africa, the first thing they did was take slaves to go and build capitalism in Europe and America, and then they came to build agriculture here so that they control food. Because if you control food, you're done. They moved you from where you were used to living, make you mine somewhere, and then put in concentration camps, and then start producing food for you. They knew the black body is actually the superior body. That's a fact. We don't get cancer, we don't get zonke lezi zinto zizangani and so why ngicala ngabantu besimanje? Firstly, they need to understand African history organically. So that ngoba ithina esifundisa iy'ngane.
Yebo.
Even nokuvota umama utshela wonke umuntu ukuthi la sivotela le gebengu lezi.
Kunjani?
So all I'm asking is start the gardens. Okay, use your whatever seeds you can find for now. As time goes, we're going to start an indigenous seed exchange program.
Yes.
And those seeds,
Yes.
we do not want them from a shop.
Yes.
You're going to have to learn how to seed your own
Yes.
plants.
Yes.
Yes. Before uvuna,
Yes.
there's a process after uvuna. You leave a small portion of the
That's
plants because they need to
yes.
seed.
Yes.
Because after the fruit, it's the seeds.
Yes.
Then they collect the seeds, separate them, and also save them. So we're going to teach you the whole process so that eventually nobody has to buy seeds and we collapse Bill Gates.
Siyabonga Ndlovukazi. Sibonga nje ukuthi futhi unyathele namhlanje. Usisile thokoza.
Thokozana ake ngifake assignment le uma athi unifake assignment emakhaya kwakuneyinkomo nezimbuzi zinezibaya zazo thina sintu abantu siyaye siyishisele senze zonke izinto kulezi ilwane zingaze zimukele imimoya uyabona so manje sila emalokishini sitheka lezi imbuzi la emakhoneni lezi asizazi ukuthi zenziwa njani noma ziyabreedwa zenziwani ngicela unika naye assignment ake niyofuna ke imithi yesintu ikhona ngizonika yami akuseyami yethu kodwa ngizonika mina nami ngifuna niyifunele ngoba khona beTswana khona beSuthu khona wonke uhlobo ukuthi nithole ukuthi ngoba imbuzi nento esizoyisebenzisa manje mawenza umsebenzi kufanele kuyiphuzise izocima yonke lemimoya ngoba labo okhuluma nabo baqini so wena ufika nale mbuzo oyithenge lapha kulela bhunu elithi hayi mawungathola inyongo kuphela lidelela uyabona so ake senze kanjalo nenkomo ningasabi ukuyiphuzisa bethi niyathakatha kulungile sithakatha vele ngoba kade seyiphuziselwa ukubheka abathakathi into errong into uyiphuzisela ukuthi le esithi yonke into ofanele ihlanzeke njengoba na mawe yakhona lapha nawe uyayithiba into zakho mawe emsamo uyokwenza into zakho uyayithiba bafethu umthetho omunye lo uma ngathi seyasho ke uyayithiba iy'nsuku impela ungayi entweni lezi eniyithandayo nakhona laphana khona bezokumukela lokho okwenzayo nalento oyisebenzisayo kufanele injani ihlambuluke ihlanzeke khona izinto zizohamba kahle ke bafethu nginike assignment kulokho hayi uyengisolo ukusi-eda ke si-ede hayi siseningi isikhathi sisazophila thina njengoba edile into kwethu
Ukhona omunye wesibali.
Just to add on that, remember last week we were doing the experiment carbon and water for planting inside 2-liter bottles. This is for ease of access, so that people can start planting now. Keep it concrete, then I'm going to keep it concrete. You can even plant like along the roof. I want to gutters, use that gutters for something, because throughout the years it's not gonna rain, and that thing is just collecting dust throughout the year. So use that thing, you plant in that gutter, so that namas now
process uthi masebenzisa le process no pesticides esifunakalayo and namanzi owadingayo to grow something they are less.
So la uyabona ke Mkhulu shuthi sisebenzise umuthi la umuthi lo ushisiwe charcoal, so why is charcoal the most efficient way of actually doing this? It's because as a tree, it starts as a tree, and the tree is the only thing that can actually separate all of the new minerals that are in the ground from all of those rocks that we see in the ground. It can separate the air that we breathe. Take that carbon and produce oxygen. So that means a tree can break up atoms. It's just like fire. So once you have exposed this the tree to fire, now what fire does, it also breaks things down to an atomic level. So what you have now here is a concentrated version of what is umhlaba. All of those minerals now. Phela kumbula, a tree takes all of the nutrients it needs to survive. And then basically it keep any byproduct as oxygen. So what are we doing here? What we are doing here, we've taken this is, remember, now carbon is ilanga, this is hydrogen, calcium, helium, name them. Yeah. Name them, they are here. And now what we have done is that we are wanting to accelerate this particularly. Truth inasikhuluma ngama principles lawo. Seyithatha lento lena sifaka ukuthi umveli nqangi kahle kahle lo. Bathi ilanga liphuma emanzini. Why? Because water is the purest form of carbon. Fana ne diamond. So Nana Mkhulu, what we have done is that you just take a tulip, cut it in the center. Don't let it So what happens here is that when you close it like this, once you've introduced the water, once you close it like this, it's going to create negative pressure. So the charcoal is going to act like a sponge. When the sun hits the charcoal, it's going to dry up, but because there's water there, it's going to want to suck the water up again. Continuously feeding the seed. This is now accelerated. This is fertilizer. This is what fertilizer actually is. Nice thing. This is just made from, you can take any, I think you can go outside here, find someone who was buying there and say, bruh, can I have your charcoal there? It's free. The 2-liter bottles, you can find millions of them out there. You now need to buy something and cut it. Yeah. I'm not gonna say use a scissor because we are trying to be ingenuity, right? Yeah, we are trying to teach ourselves to read. They've taught us. Remember, guys, nothing exists out here. This environment, this what we call it in Mkhulu, concentration camp. So we're gonna use the concentration camp now. Yes. Yeah. So another idea is, you see, if you do have gutters in your house, you can now crush that charcoal. Crush that charcoal. This is now water purification, because charcoal is also very pure.
Yes.
You fill that gutter up with charcoal. Are you understand? Getting me? You're gonna fill that gutters with charcoal. Don't put anything there. No soil there. Fill that gutter with charcoal, and you put your seeds there. Remember, now we are looking for 24 hours of sunlight. So 12 hours of sunlight. And the 12 hours of lunar rays. Because don't get it mixed. The lunar rays is also important for you. Yes. Because you are made up of 70% of water. And unomkhulu amanzi ahlonipha unomkhulu because unomkhulu ngenaphaka namagagasa ayaphakama. So what you're gonna do once you have filled that gutters up with the charcoal, you plant your seeds. The water that comes down is now, remember, purified.
It's purified.
So you collect that water because the water that you are drinking from the tap, away. It's poison. It's poison. You know.
Confirmation.
So this is also a way to actually bring back all of those nutrients that we have lost. Take the normal water that you take from the tap and you introduce now charcoal to it. So how can you do this effectively, knowing that angeke usebenzise mhlambe inkamba ezimbi? Just identify the tree that you are taking the charcoal from. You know, just know where that tree comes from, because that tree also contains knowledge of that particular place.
Yes.
Because that tree has taken the knowledge from the ground, you know, from that particular place that people were traveling and talking over. Now that, remember we were talking about how Amache, Abamba, and a memory. Everything in nature has memory. And even us, because we have diverted now, it resolves itself. You know, it resolves itself. So now we are trying to resolve ourselves. Alkaline. Come on. Fill up maybe buckets full, bucket loads, so that you are. I need my I'm trying to help you purify. It wasn't by mistake, because it's something that's pestering a coast. Ukuthi abantu bethu abanakho okokudla siyaphila nje singazi ukuthi ngakusasa kuzozala yebo nalento le kade ekhuluma Mkhulu ushabe esikhonkosini ngoba bengifuna vele ukuthi ngikhulume ngokuthi qhelela le nyama le ngoba uyazi ukuthi ikhulumele yathi yingakho bathwele ngathi bathwele ngathi manje sizama ukuzifreya. How now do we free ourselves? We go back to charcoal, to that melanin. Yes, we go back to that melanin now. We are told. Now uzakeka ukuthi ngiphakamisa kanjani le melanin yami leya. Ngoba ngizwa ngathi iyapheka. We understand. So you will take it from the carbon. Once you have that water, you will see this. I mean, I spent quite a while in here, and that water was black when we started. Remember, that water was black. It has been hit by the sun. Remember now, because water also has memory. Every time it's hit by the sun, it's continuously trapping hydrogen particles. Because the coal is continuously absorbing the water. There's bubbles that are being carried there. And when that water cries out, there's oxygen, isn't it, in those bubbles, and all these other chemicals. So, and these come directly from nature. Anything that comes from a tree, and that's why we eat fruits. Yes? So that's the purest water that you can have. I'd rather eat alu plants for the rest of my life than
I say go. Agloni have or imhote pasalo lapho. Mele kube kanje ke. Creativity is into kusamele sithole solution ye load shedding. We need to find a permanent solution for load shedding. And it's right there. Angithi lapha bayibizani ionosphere lephezulu kula kune natural electricity. All you have to do is to design a device to connect with that. You get free electricity. That's why our ancestors built pyramids. And remember, Tesla proved the concept of pyramid. Why was it built? By replicating a structure that acts exactly like a pyramid to produce free electricity for people. But now about medicine, nabo bani le bank, Rockefeller, they then withdraw my funds by destroy again. Why? Because Ukulume, he spoke about free electricity. Our government all over the world are spending billions instead of coming up with a technology that will just harness the sun. Then remember Ama Pen, the obelisk. Ama obelisk, the way transmitter, to various points. But the pyramid is the central one. That's why the capstone of the pyramid was gold. Gold is the best conductor of electricity. Even Mother Ilentuza, copper is nothing. Gold is the best. So the capstone was gold. So that Ibambele energy, then distributed it through many obelisks, but we won't even get there. And Tina's in a chance because we are hosting the oldest pyramid in Mpumalanga. It's an opportunity for us to do scientific research why they were built there. Because it must have been a strategic point. As we know, Guti, those stones, that calendar, it has other 3 stones that are somewhere there. And those 3 stones, that are aligned with the stars of the Orion belt. So, kune energy elapha okumele siyisebenzise thina. So Tsipani Makhethi Sambulelo said, we need the technology in future. Electricity and water, it's our basic right. We don't have to be paying for all these things. Do you understand? At least we've resolved that one. We don't pay for electricity, we don't pay for water. That resolves a lot of our problems. Now, do you understand? And the technology will come from you guys. Just be open. Just always try and make an effort to balance things within you. Because that's when Isambulelo says, Sifuna solutions of the future. How do we access it? That a free electricity is there. Hey, do you remember the Skuman frequency? Hey, the Skuman frequency, there's a layer of earth, above Lapa earth. Hey, to tap into this electromagnetic field so that a itself. So if future demands that of us, and it's not impossible, if future demands that of us,
it's a remembering for us more than Lento Deba Yenze. It's not a PhD. It's a remembering.
yes.
There's a remembering that needs to happen, which is purification, step, and then all these things. It's but unembeza uma art usfuna vele sibe clean, sibe free flow. The answers are here. Here, direct, and it's a remembering. That's why these divine principles are linking us to original who we are. So out of this mess, which is the concentration camp, we all remember we remember that. Here's another one. Niti Gasoto. Truth. NTR.
Consciousness. So we have that ability. Akekho umuntu special more than the other. It depends on the consciousness. How do you understand? How are you connected consciously? Then Isambulelo says, talk about it.
I'm a first time member, by the way, so all of this stuff is I've been sitting on this vaccination thing, and I know which topic enzima for a lot of people. But I saw and a 6-hour ngoba Mkhulu Samuzbe akhuluma, so it was a 6-hour documentary akhuluma about polio vaccinations and how zivala. When I saw that, I had goosebumps because for a long time I've been against this vaccination myself. Now I'm not vaccinated and I think I will not be until Sifostwa. But for my and I wanted to find out what are your opinions or teachings on that, because I find with a lot of spiritual teachers don't really want to talk about Lentile, and understandably so, because and I got sparked by what Mkhulu was saying there about all these blockages. We're being blocked by all sorts of things that we don't know about, and personally I have felt with this vaccination is some kind of a block. But yeah, and I wanted to say it, but I feel I needed to mention it.
Oh no, as you know, it's a personal choice. I can't say you can't do it because your boss demands of you that you have that. But I mean, and personally, I don't believe this. Tina, we even know the seasons of purification, the seasons that purify all the viruses here on earth. So we try to connect and allow my season. So that this is how Tina lockdown as yes. Throughout the whole lockdown we were live. And again umuntu simluzile. You understand? Throughout the one day bafika amaphoyisa amavena alandelayo bezwa isigubhu sisho from there. It was during the happy lockdown there. You know, but isingayenzi whatever. But umoya wabenza basaba ungena la. Bayoma le khoneni too. Baya le khoneni balokho bathi. Thina hano sinenda khona. You understand? So umoya makhe. Everything ila emoyeni wena ndlokazi. Manengi ama-viruses that are still going to come, even though we know the virus is fake. It's fake and also deliberate. Because now kulape Ukraine they discovered labs that are producing these things. Is that not why one of the reasons why they are angry of Putin? How do you produce these dangerous things? Uthi nje just ibhodlela nje lilodwa melingawa. The whole world is affected. So mistake yabo labantu labo. But ke thina ke ngoba siphethe isigora secarbon. Hayi no. Shy pound. Hey, yingakho sami uzwa. Thina sizohamba emhlabeni ngoba sokuvukume umoya izulu nomhlaba ukuthi hayi khehla buya ke manje. Lokho kunya sinandaba nakho whether kukhona uma ngimele ngihambe ngitransform, I'll be very hasty because I'm going to renew myself. Le mpilo yala, you know, ingicikile. I better go and renew myself. So ukufa sikusabi ngoba kukho. There's no doubt. Thokoza ke. Wo ukhuluma. Oh, thokoza.
Mkhulu, awucabangi mina Mkhulu ukuthi njengoba sidonsa energy lapha ku-ionosphere kusho ukuthi nasibeka plane sihlanganisa izulu nomhlaba ebese sisaphila lapha emkhathini la khamba indiza khona kusho ukuthi thina soqala ke lapho ukundiza Hey, hey.
Usho ukundiza kuphela.
Hayi lokhu kokundiza
Eh.
ukuthi sisuke la siye ngala ePluto siye Mars yabo siye kwamanye
No, buka leyo asihamba sikhulumi nje because a story, you know, that we're trying to be nice. It happened. It happened because the Dogon people were able to discover the serious A and serious B, you know, star formation, even before Kepler. Because we're a spaceship. But detailed information about the star, you know, Sirius. Detailed information. And you can't see that with the naked eye. Baby, a telescope. So baby travel, man. Gone. Abuye. Abale nayi. Astral travel. That's what they call it. Kina siphilile leyo asinto ukuthi siphilile, we experienced it as abantu abamnyama. So it is still possible and isikhathi sayo again. As art now balances izinto again. Meaning ukuthi i-domination is going to be umoya. We are now in the knowledge economy. If you understand it. We are in a knowledge economy now. It means ukuthi value yakho, it's what you know, not what you possess. Ama RR na yonke lento Ferrari means nothing about it. In the near future, what is here and what you're saying to us, that will be of value. You know, so sifike kuleso sikhathi and nobody is responsible for that. Umoya athi umthethokazi ufikile uzobalance izinto apha. Thokozani. Siyabhala. Yeah. Hayi yasisho. Thokoza ke. Oh hayi woza. Yeah.
The kingdom of Anpu. There are one content and a short story about how grateful I am for this weekend. This weekend is a good weekend. I've gained a lot of knowledge and I'm trying to level up here. So yeah, I'm going to.
Sorry, uxolo, excuse ukuphazamisa. Bogogo nabo Mkhulu, ngicela uNkulunkulu makasi performance, sicela singanyamalali khona udaba nje bele sixoxe sisonke. Yebo.
Matho